I was so tempted to start today's stream singing the Martin O'Neill song once again. The smile hasn't left my face from yesterday. It's probably the most positive I've thought, or I felt, I should say, about Celtic on the pitch anyway in a long time. So we're going to cover that, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, it's time to kick on. That's what I've titled this stream. I thought I would go live this afternoon because I don't know, there's a couple of things to talk about. I'm pretty sure we've seen one of the glaringly out there transfer rumours that's flying this afternoon. As of the past hour or so, Celtic have been linked with Kieran Bowie of Hibs. We'll talk about that in this video. We've got a lot to talk about. I want to talk about yesterday, a few other things. Look, there's so much to do. Very, very quickly, a couple of things I want to pass. I want to get some general housekeeping out of the way. Number one, it is half time with Dundee and Hearts as things stand. Hearts are winning 1-0. And obviously that doesn't really help us. I was expecting Hearts to win today anyway. Still a thing I have to go on. By all accounts, Dundee have played well in parts of the game, but Claudio Braga and Hearts are just too good at the minute. 1-0 it stands to them, which means they are 6 points ahead of Celtic right now in the league. As things stand, they're 6 points clear. Of course, Rangers kick off at 4:30 this afternoon up at Pittodrie. That game is going ahead despite all of the bad weather in the Aberdeen area. That game's going on tonight at 4:30. So will Rangers slip up? I'm not expecting it. I think they'll probably beat Aberdeen quite easily. Actually, of course, Aberdeen without a manager right now as well. So, I mean, we could do with Aberdeen doing us a favour. However, that's the case right now. So 1-0 with Hearts as it stands. Listen, people talking about the goal. Should it have stood? Should it have not stood? It doesn't really concern us right now. What concerns us is the full-time result. So we'll talk about that when the game's done. I won't be on until the game's done. I'm only going to be live for the next half hour, but aye. Second piece of housekeeping that I want very quickly is, could everybody just say a wee prayer and help the Philadelphia Eagles tonight, because we need the biggest help ever against the San Francisco 49ers of all teams. Granted, not help in the general sense. I think we'll be pretty fine. I think we should beat them quite easily. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me. But it's the 49ers. I've been waiting for this. This was in the making. Playoff football, baby. Let's go. And number 3, back to Celtic for a moment. Let's cover this now live while I'm on the air. And let's talk about it right now. After yesterday's comment section, I have never, in all my days doing this, received such a barrage of not abuse, it's not abuse, but of disagreement in one of my appraisals of a player yesterday on the pitch for Celtic. So some people will watch this back in video form, and some people will obviously be watching this live right now. A lot of people unhappy. I keep forgetting I've got my speakers on. Thank you, Mikey, for your donation, mate. I appreciate that. What a legend. I love you, brother. Thank you. A lot of people unhappy with what I said about Sebastian Tenekti and his performance yesterday for Celtic in our 4-0 win against Dundee United. And if you look at my comments section, whoa, it blew up. So many people unhappy with how my appraisal of Sebastian Tenekti's game yesterday. And I do hold my hands up. I used the wrong phrasing. I'm not changing my opinion. I want more from Tenekti. But my phrasing was definitely wrong. I used the wrong words completely. Especially for somebody being at the game and saw him play in front of my very eyes. I think I said, what was it I said again? That he was non-existent or something like that. And he definitely wasn't non-existent. It was just not the phrase to use. I was just doing that thing where you're rushing, you're just speaking, you're trying to get the video out on time and trying to make your own deadlines, etc. And I just kind of farted it out there. I don't think he was anything special yesterday, and I'll stick by that. Was he active in the game? 100%. That's why my phrasing was way off, and I get why people were on my neck about that. But just in my opinion, I think we've got a long way to go with Tenekti. I think there's still a lot of things he has to iron out in his game. I think the thing for me is that I just want him to be ruthless. You know, I want him to be ruthless, and he just takes too long for a wee decision. And his cross, and I know people are saying, oh, with somebody in the box, he could have had 3 assists yesterday. I don't know. I mean, sometimes all he needs to do is look up and see where his man is. I think that's also an aspect of it. The thing for Tenekti, Hearts down to 10 men. Oofed. The keeper's been sent off. Bloody hell. We'll come on to that in a moment. I just want to quickly finish this wee bit of housekeeping very quickly. It wasn't bad by any stretch. And at no point in the video did I say I was bad. I think a lot of people were jumping on me and saying that was saying he was terrible or something. I wasn't. I just think that there's more he could do. And just Yang was brilliant yesterday. And I think that he was a little bit behind Yang. I just don't think he was given the same on that left-hand side as what Yang was given on the right-hand side. I want Tenecti to kick on and do well. Is there encouraging signs there? Absolutely there's encouraging signs. Especially, and maybe I was just a little bit harsh because he is just back from AFCON. He's been literally back in the door 5 minutes. So maybe that was harsh of me. I will hold my hands up and say, yeah, maybe I was a little bit harsh. But I still think he needs to be more ruthless, his decision-making needs to be better, and his end product needs to improve. It's all well and good saying that he can run down the line, he can do this, and that's great. But you need end product at the end of it. So I'm not changing my opinion. I think he just needs to be more effective in that regard. Will he get better when an actual striker comes in the door? Maybe he will. Maybe that'll help him big time. But he's also got a job to make sure his crosses are going on target or whatever else. Yeah, I just wanted to address that after the bombshell of my comment section yesterday. It was like, I was just trying to be so positive, and it was a wee throwaway stupid comment saying when I said he was non-existent, and it was absolutely the wrong phrase to use because he wasn't non-existent, but I was just, trying to get stuff done and trying to get through the video. So apologies for anybody I offended, for any Sebastian Tenecti maniacs out there, but I've said my piece now and hopefully I've rectified the decision, even though I still think once again that we could get more. Thank you to Gigi and thank you to Bruce for becoming supporters of the channel. I really appreciate that, guys. You're legends, and cheers. So before we get into all the news for the day and I start talking about things and getting into your questions, apparently there is big drama at Dens. So right, I thought it was half time as I started the live, and it was actually still in the So yeah, Alexander Schwolau has been sent off for Hearts. The Hearts keeper, the VAR has given the red. Hearts are down to 10 men with a second half to play at Dens Park. They are up 1-0. I still feel like that he will be the they will be the winners of the game. I still see Hearts getting the result, but it helps us. Very interesting. Half time, Hearts 1, Dundee 0. Hearts down to 10 men. And Craig Gordon will be coming on for the second half, won't he? Or coming on just at the tail end of the first half there. We'll move past that for now. Yeah, some news coming out this afternoon then, ladies and gentlemen. I was not planning on talking about this on stream because when I organised the stream, this wasn't really prevalent yet. It wasn't really doing the rounds as much as it is now. But if we just switch over very quickly, courtesy of I think the original story was broke by the Herald this afternoon. This is the Glasgow Times version, which is not behind a paywall because I don't pay for the Herald. Celtic have interest in Kieran Bowie, and apparently they've let that interest be known to Hibs as they search for a striker this window. So Kieran Bowie always felt like, to me, one of these players who were always going to get linked with the club this window. In fact, I think I used Kieran Bowie as an example of a striker in a live stream this week. Like, literally days ago, I think I remember talking about a striker and saying, Bowie, let's use him as an example, because I thought it was an easy example to use. I thought that the interest would ultimately be inevitable between Celtic and Kieran Bowie. And apparently now Celtic are interested. This also comes off the back of Rangers allegedly being interested as well. There was talk of Rangers being in discussions with Hibs about making a deal possible for Kieran Bowie. But anyway, Celtic have expressed a transfer interest in Kieran Bowie. It's been reported that the 23-year-old has caught the interest of Celtic, who want to be kept updated on any potential deals for the forward. However, and here's the big line, the line that everybody's talking about, Hibs have him valued at around £6.5 million, which is a lot of money. Rangers are also keeping a close eye on Bowie's situation. The striker who scored against Motherwell is in fine form and a point of interest for both clubs in Glasgow. David Gray was asked about it, I think, at the weekend after their game against Motherwell, saying that speculation is going to be there. One thing Kieran needs to do is keep, the same as all the other players, is keep doing what he's doing. They need to keep their feet in the ground, keep working hard, keep improving, and the best thing about it is they all do that. So David Gray is aware, and these are the kind of comments where he's like, yeah, do you know what, a January move is not off the cards for Kieran Bowie in this window. But the big talking, listen, Celtic are interested first and foremost, but the big topic of conversation and the big point everybody's going to talk about is that £6.5 million. Now, what I will say is, I don't see a world in which Hibs get that £6.5 million. I don't think Celtic or Rangers, and this isn't me saying I would or wouldn't pay it, I'll come on to my own opinion in a moment. I just don't think Celtic or Rangers will pay that. I think they would tell Hibs to go and take a flying fuck to themselves, to be quite honest. Pardon my French. I would be stunned if any of the two teams actually pay that money, unless they're desperately wanting them. And once again, that's not me saying we should or shouldn't. I just don't see any of the two teams paying it. But the fact of the matter is, Hibs have that right to demand it. He's a key asset, he's a good player, he's a young player, and it's about time that these Scottish clubs start doing what we always say Celtic should do with their players. I'm not going to have a problem with Hibs valuing their players at £6.5 million, even if I don't think they're worth that. I'm not a hypocrite. How many times have we sat here talking about Dyson Maeda and Matt O'Reilly, Jota, Kyogo, and all these players who have been touted for moves or whatever. You know, this is, I mean, we sold, somebody raised the point in the chat, Lewis there, we got $7 million for Adam Ida. Is Kieran Bowie better than Adam Ida up here? Probably. Hibs are well within their right to ask for £6.5 million. Whether Celtic or Rangers will pay that £6.5 million, now that is a completely different story. I like Kieran Bowie. I really do. I think he looks a good player. This season he has 9 goals, 3 assists in 28 games. 8 goals in the Premiership alone, which is far better than any striker that we have right now. I mean, it's not world beating. Certainly not. I mean, to have 8 goals by January isn't exactly, you know, setting the world alight. But for a young Scottish player, that's a pretty good tally. For this point in the season, he's got 15 goals in 50 games for Hibs in general, 8 of them coming this season. And he's obviously young with a high ceiling, I would say. I would say he's got a pretty high ceiling, Kieran Bowie. He's been involved in the first team with Hibs for a while now. He's a mainstay in that team. Yeah, I like him. I like him. Would I pay £6.5 million for him? Here is my honest opinion about it. And listen, if you want let me start with this. My honest thoughts is I don't think Kieran Bowie will be a Celtic player by the end of the month. So I don't know if I'm kind of wasting my breath by using all this. I think Celtic will hear that and look for strikers for cheaper fees in other places than go and giving Hibs £6.5 million for Kieran Bowie. But here is my honest opinion about it. I'm at the point where I'd pay $20 million for any striker, just so it means I don't have to watch Johnny Kenny up front again, or struggle to score goals. A striker is such a priority, and I think I'm keen to ensure we don't... I want to remind everybody, we shouldn't just jump at the first available chance. But the fact that we are 11 days into the window and we aren't any closer to signing a striker is a joke in itself. I've always been one that's been very kind of careful and very kind of... I've always been kind of cautious about paying big fees. Bar maybe a couple of people. I remember for Adam Ida, for example, I was saying just pay the money and get him. That obviously didn't turn out quite right, and that was foolish. We made good money back, to be fair. But at this point, I don't think Celtic have a lot of room to arse about. And if they want £6.5 million, I'm not saying just go in and give them £6.5 million straight away, but don't do any of this. Here's 500 grand. Here's £1 million. Here's £2 million plus Odin Thiago home for 6 months. Here's $3 million plus Johnny Kenny. None of that. It's not fucking FIFA. It's not Football Manager. That's not how transfer negotiations work. And it's proven that that's not how they work, because how far has it got Celtic in these last couple of years? When we keep hearing these stories, I'm waiting for the first Daily Record article to drop, saying that Celtic have lowballed Hibs for Kieran Bowie. That article is almost guaranteed to come out in the next week or so, isn't it? Oh, Celtic have lowballed Hibs. The first bid has been submitted, but it is way short of the mark. That is how we conduct our business, and look where it's got us. So I get it. There'll be loads of people saying, I wouldn't pay £6.5 million for him. And I understand that. I'm not saying that that's wrong. I agree that 6.5 does seem a bit steep. But where has paying half of the demands of a club got us recently? It's got us absolutely nowhere. I think we need to be more realistic in trying to meet the demands of other clubs, especially if we're that desperate for a player. I'm not saying that it has to be Kieran Bowie. I'm not saying that we have to pay £6.5 million for Kieran Bowie. But what I am saying is the time for fannying about ended not this week, not last week, not in the summer. It ended in January when we let Kyogo go. Remember, we haven't been looking for a striker off the back of poor fixtures in October and November where we couldn't finish our dinner. We're looking for a striker to replace the guy who scored 20, 30 goals a year a calendar year ago. And we're still here. We don't have time to fanny about. This has been a year-long process. And that once again, I'm very, very keen to make sure that you hear my point. I'm not saying that means we jump in and pay $6.5 million for Kieran Bowie. But what I am saying is, these are the sorts of fees that are going to be demanded for any half-decent striker Celtic are looking for in this window. No £1 million, £2 million striker is going to make a difference at Celtic, it seems right now. We would need a miracle in that regard. And that's not to say that, Bowie's going to be the guaranteed guy to get you the goals. But I'd much rather be looking at players that I feel like are going to do it than these unknowns, out of form, injury-prone ones that we keep getting linked with. So, right now, I just don't think Celtic have a hell of a lot of business to prove that we should be confident to get this right, that's been done over the past year. And I also just don't think we have a leg to stand on when it comes to arsing about with transfer negotiations. I've always kind of used the point of like, it's not my money they're spending. I just want them to spend money. And it doesn't mean you just throw it about frivolously and aimlessly. But this is where we are now. We need a striker. We need a striker through the door. And whether that's Kieran Bowie or not, we need to wait and see. But those are the rumours this morning. Or this afternoon, I should say. So once again, Celtic have expressed a transfer interest to Hibs about Kieran Bowie. Rangers are also keeping an eye on the situation, as we understand, and Hibs have him valued at around £6.5 million. So that's kind of where we are right now with the Kieran Bowie stuff. I don't think he'll be the first or last striker to come up in the next 48 hours. I think we'll probably hear about somebody else coming out soon. I mean, after seeing his goal at the weekend, Malhanisi at Motherwell should probably be getting looked at as well if we're going off players in form in this league. Kieran Bowie, Malhanisi, who's been better this season? I know who I'd say. I just want a striker. I just want a striker through the door, and I want a striker through the door now. So yeah, that's that. Very quickly before I come on to the Q&A portion of the live stream, which I'm looking forward to doing. I'm looking forward to getting into your talk. Odin Thiago Holmes' agent is looking for a loan move away from Celtic. Apparently he's made his agent know that he wants a loan move away from the club again. I remember back in kind of September time, I think it was, there was an article that came out from America saying that Odin Thiago Holmes still wants to make it at Celtic. I think it's probably made clear that that's not going to happen anytime in the immediate future. And he looks as though they're looking for a loan move, whether that's back to America again or something else, don't know. But he is looking for a loan move away. And in terms of other news coming out today, not much else. Obviously, just a lot of recap from yesterday's game, a lot of talk from the press and the media, from Martin O'Neill, etc. Kieran Bowie is the big story of the afternoon. So we'll see if Celtic move any closer in on that. I would be happy with Bowie as an option at the club. I mean, Quinny, nice to see you, brother, by the way. I didn't even notice you in the chat. Why not Malhanisi and Bowie? Would be serious big club stuff in Scotland to do that, wouldn't it? But I'd be stunned if Celtic tried it. Why not both? Why not both? Yeah, listen, I just want a striker. And whether it's, if Bowie came in to hold down the fort for a bit and we went and looked for somebody, we need more than, in my opinion, we need more than one anyway. As Quinty said, why not Malhanisi and Bowie? But it doesn't need to be just those two. Like, we can expand the scouting range. And I just want two strikers. Because Iheanacho is not going to be here past May. He's going to leave. I have no doubts about that. Johnny Kenny, yeah, it's Johnny Kenny. Maida, as Mackenzie said, might be waiting to sell him. I still think he's probably going to be off in the next two windows. Yeah. Two strikers should be looked at. Anyway, that's that. Right, let's get into the Q&A, shall we? Let's leave all the quotes and stuff out of the way. Let's get you guys dictating the conversation for the next week. Well, we have over 600 live viewers for a Sunday afternoon. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to hit like and subscribe. Is there any substance to the rumours of Bowie? I would say now there's more substance than there's been with people just mentioning his name in the past. I mean, this article this afternoon's coming from somewhat... I mean, I always say take every transfer rumour with a pinch of salt, but somewhat credible sources. I always expected Celtic to be interested in Bowie. Whether it goes any further than that, we'll have to wait and see. Baldy Prick saying, we're not in the position to try and bargain. We need striking options and fast. Pay the money, get Malhanisi and Bowie before we miss out on both, and get another Balikwisha. That's the fear, isn't it? Like, imagine, this is I don't like letting Rangers dictate what we do in the window, and it's been a while since we've had to worry about anything like that. But now that they're serious title contenders at this point of the season, which they are, you might be trying to convince yourself they're not. If they win this afternoon, they're once again above us in the league. So they are title contenders at the minute. That's just fact. You either accept it or you don't. But we are in a position where, like, you know, if Bowie goes to Rangers, scores 10 goals, 15 goals before the end of the season and helps them win a league title, what will we be saying about it? And I don't think we should just act out of fear, but it is something to consider. And you'd be daft to say it's not. But I've seen a lot of talk about Mawinisi in the chat. I really like Mawinisi. He just has a look about him. I would seriously be on the phone to Motherwell asking what they think about fees or whatever. Once again, very quick to jump in about it, but it's football. And, you know, you're taking as much of a risk going for somebody like a Mawinisi or somebody that's playing in Romania, Luis Montano, say, who's never played here before, still quite young. Like, they're both going to be a risk. You're spending money on a striker. You're hoping they do the same thing, score goals. Doesn't matter where they're playing. Odin had a look of quality on him, maybe a little bit raw, but looked driven. Shame about the injuries. Yeah, the injuries haven't helped him at all. Definitely a point to point out there, a point to consider about Odin. The injuries have just gubbed him, it seems, and I think it gubbed him early as well. He obviously came in with a bit of pedigree behind him in terms of people were talking about him being a potential European golden boy. He was named on that UEFA top 50 wonder kids list or whatever it was. Very little to see at Celtic so far. I mean, I can't even cast my mind back to the cameos we got of him. They were very insignificant. But yeah, it's a shame how it's panned out for him in that regard. But it doesn't look as though he's going to get much of a future. Would I take Callum Wilson? Maybe you're not going to get 2 years out of Callum Wilson, Henry. If you got Callum Wilson, it would be 6 months. You know? I mean, I appreciate the shout of O in the chat, but was they not about to get 30 million for the guy in the summer? And then the deal collapsed. Something daft, wasn't it? It was a huge fee. I've seen Callum Wilson's name mentioned a few times. And I don't, like, there's never been anything to suggest that Celtic are even looking at Callum Wilson. I don't know why his name has become so, like, linked with us amongst fans, because I've not seen one thing to suggest that Celtic are looking at the guy. Quinny saying Bowie could replace Owen in our squad easily. Who knows about better than that, which is what we need. Getting 2 guys in like that, I think you get more out of each individual with the competitive dynamic. Well, as I said, like, if Bowie comes in, you can definitely improve upon Bowie anyway. So I don't see a problem with bringing in a Kieran Bowie if it means you're going to be ambitious and bring somebody else in with him that might be better. The question is, do you think that Celtic are going to actually do that? I don't know. And why am I 6'7"? And are Celtic going to actually do that? I don't know. By the way, off topic for a moment, there was somebody in my comments section yesterday saying, why do I apply face filters to my video? Just for the record, I am live. I have no face filter on, right? Just to prove it. I look like this in every fucking video. Thank you. Just wanted to get that out there because I was like, what? It was really fucking wild. So many comments flying. I'll try and get to any. Have I officially unprescribed the Yang Gang as a terror organisation? I have. I'm not part of the Yang Gang. I'm not there yet. I need more. I was saying it yesterday. I'm like, I don't want to. I'm not joining. I'm not applying for the Yang Gang until I've seen it for like months, because this was the exact same as this time last year when his girlfriend was over. Remember, and then he went back to being Yang. So it's time. And I've always said that about Celtic players. It's about time. It's about consistency. Yang is in real good form at the minute, and I hope he keeps it up for our sake. You know, for our sake more than his sake, I want him to keep up the form. But I will take them off of the terrorist organisation list for now, Nathan. For now, but he's thriving at the minute, and that's good. I hope that continues. I still think that we should be signing a right winger though. Like, I'm fine with Yang being around the squad, but aye. Jota's still miles away. Yep, a baby face. Wee cutie, God almighty. Don't give me that. It's nuts. The camera, my skin is terrible. I have fucking rosacea, whatever it's called. I don't know how you say it. And the camera does not show it up. My skin's terrible. The camera makes it look better. Take the filter off. Nice beard filter. What? Bowie, Mulligan, Mawinisi, a new keeper, and 2 right wingers, along with a new centre half. You're not asking for much, Tom, are you? What the hell? You've got your You've got your expectations low. Over 2 windows, though, that is the kind of business that Celtic should be. As you said, it won't happen, but it is the kind of business you would love the club to conduct, but realistically just not going to happen. A lot of talk about Mawinisi in the chat. I've revoked my membership to the Yang Gang, says Kay Sanson. I know I'll never be let in now. I've said too much against him, even if he does go on to be this all-timer at Celtic, which I'm not going to say so, but... Lee, good comment from Lee saying, I think we need to push out the boat for the striker and show we're backing the manager. Go for someone like Jonas Vind or Jonas Eptinalib. Probably wishful thinking, don't even know if I've pronounced that right. But Jonas Vind, I've always liked Jonas Vind. Is he within Celtic's realistic reach? I don't think so. But once again, if we could back Martin O'Neill big time on a striker that would cost millions, that'd be great. Just not going to happen, sadly. Diego Rossi from the MLS linked with because of Nancy. I think he'd be a good striker. Yeah, that's not happening now. Yeah, I don't think it was happening in the first place, but certainly not happening now, sadly. He looks a good player. Demo, how you doing, brother? Ryan, am I formerly paying for a shout out for my stinky pee? Your stinky pee. I am formally paying for a shout out for my stinky pee. Shout out to your stinky pee, Demo. Shout out to your stinky pee. I'm taking a wild guess what that pee is, and I don't like it. Thank you to Securia for being a member for 15 months, and if Yang becomes a player, I will eat my hat. Listen, he's got a long road to go. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the form that he's in. Certainly am. I think you can be a critic of a player while also enjoying proving you wrong. I want every player to prove me wrong. I'm an arsehole. Yeah, I talk shite. Somebody commented in my video yesterday like, you talk nonsense, why can you not admit it? I do admit it. You need to talk nonsense to do this. That's how you make these platforms. We're all fucking egomaniacs. I'm not scared to admit that. I never hid away from that. So I want these players to prove me wrong. Thank you to Nathan for the $4.99 saying, Ryan, make getting a centre-back a priority. One injury to one of ours and we're fucked. Keep it up. Thank you, I will keep it up. And I agree. Centre-backs thin in the ground right now. We are thin in the ground. And I would like to see somebody else come in. I don't know if Celtic are looking at it in this window, but the sounds of it, we're not. I think that would be something that the summer will certainly be addressed, to be honest. Henry, I stayed up to 4:30 watching it, and there's one story time. Some of the channel members know this, right? Let me give you a quick story time. I'll make it. I've not shared this in the public channel. So weeks ago, I bought a ticket for a playoff game at Lincoln Financial Field next week. Maybe 3 weeks ago, I'd say, and maybe 3 weeks ago. I bought a ticket for a playoff game on the understanding that the Eagles would potentially be at home. I needed the Packers to beat the Bears last night, and if that happened and the Eagles won tonight, I would have been off to Philadelphia on Wednesday. Booked my flights last minute, etc. The Packers were winning by 18 points last night. They lost. So the very expensive ticket that I bought for Lincoln Financial Field next week has been refunded, thank God. So I'm not going anymore. Which, to be fair, not overly arsed about. But to stay up watching it live like I did and get my heart broken the way I was excited, Lincoln Financial Field, whatever. And I'm not going anymore. Not going anymore. So let's get back to Celtic for a moment. What's your thoughts on being linked to Bayern's backup keeper? I've not seen anything suggesting Celtic are linked to any Bayern backup keeper. That's news to me. At this point, I would take Ida back. I said that we were at the derby last week, and the lad that sits in front of us, we were talking at half time about not having a striker, etc. And it's like, I don't even mean it to be comical. Selling Ida at this point has become a problem for Celtic. Like, I get that a lot of people were just desperate to see him go. But he wasn't, and I get it, he wasn't performing well enough. I 100% agree with that. But we could have done with him this season up to this point. Yeah, we could have, and I think you could. I think you struggle to deny that, man. I'm not saying that that doesn't mean we shouldn't have been looking for better. I'm just saying that we could have definitely used him up until this point of the season. But he's away, and there's no point in dwelling on the past. Celtic's transfer dealings are what they are. I addressed it at the start of the video, McGrath Celts. If you want to go back and watch it, thank you very much. You can go back to the start of the stream. It was one of the first things we talked about. I know that I wound up a few people with that line. Wrong phrasing. Wrong phrasing. Why is my chat like paused? Right, my chat is back. There we go. And my chat like just died there for a moment, so I'm back now. Should we sign Arsepiece from Bodo Glimt? Arsepiece, great player. What are your thoughts, Falkirk Celtic Wednesday? We'll talk about it at the channel through the week, but it should be a winnable game. Simple as that. The Rams were a bit lucky yesterday, man. What 2 great games to kick off the playoffs, by the way. 2 fantastic games, as heartbreaking as the late kickoff was. People would just like to throw names out there. Not in a million years wouldn't a player leave Italy for Scotland for same wages. Yeah, it's the reality you're dealing with. I agree. Am I missing a kebab pie? Of course I am. One day we'll meet again, and it'll all be for a good cause. 20 odd goals off the bench, mostly last season. If that's him playing poorly, imagine he hit form. Edward, you're preaching to the choir, son. I think everybody knows how much of an Adam Ida fan I was, and I know that he let us down sometimes. But yeah, listen, once again, no point dwelling on the past. I know we always have a laugh and a joke about it, Mortal, on the FM streams, but we do need taller players. We actually do. Like, it's not a joke. Like, we do need physicality in this team. We're not tall enough. I'm not saying it's like, oh, let's just get a team of 6'6" fucking tree kissers. You know, like, we need height though. We actually do. I'm very worried about how small and puny our team feels at times. You know. Right, let's run through a few more before I run off and watch the rest of the Hearts Dundee game, because we'll obviously have a bit to watch there, and I want to see what goes on. We should offer Hearts 5 million for Shankland. No, we shouldn't. Wouldn't take Shankland. I wouldn't take him. Wouldn't take him. Is that driven by bitterness? Absolutely. I'm not afraid to admit that. But 5 million for Shankland, that's insane. Engels played decent yesterday, a few nice dummies. I thought Engels was decent yesterday as well. The only one in the midfield that let me down yesterday was Hatate. I thought Hatate was I said non-existent incorrectly about Tenekte. Hatate was non-existent for me. Did the boy touch the ball? I can't remember it. I just thought he was quite quiet. It wasn't like he was terrible either. He was just, I don't remember saying, oh, that was nice from Hatate. Just didn't see him in the game at all, really. We've neglected physicality in the team for about 10 years, and that's a big reason why we've been failing in Europe, in my opinion. Hard to argue. I know it's became a very... I remember, like, I think I've raised this... If you've watched me for 10 years, which I know some of you have, right? I think I've brought this exact point up on stream a million times. Gordon Strachan was laughed at for saying that quote in front of the press about how Scotland are just too wee. He wasn't wrong. He was right. And people laughed at him. Oh, what an excuse. It was. I mean, maybe it was a poor quote to hit within the context of things. But he wasn't wrong. We are a very small nation. Like, we are, like, just so... We almost look malnourished besides, like, the Dutch and all the rest of it. So, like, it's always been a bit of a problem. But we really lack physicality in this team. And I think it has been a part of the issues that we have in a wider scale of things. I mean, there's a reason we don't score from set pieces. Part of it is because of the height. Part of it's just because we're terrible at fucking set pieces, and that probably is about 70% of it. But we don't have anybody that's a great target in that box. So, aye. Right, a couple more and then I'm going to log off and watch the Hearts game. Thank you for being in here, I appreciate it. Physicality does matter. Absolutely. Do you think Hearts will slip up for the league title? I mean, there's nothing to suggest they will right now. Especially if they go down to 10 men and win today. I think we have to stop having this conversation about when Hearts will slip up. It'll be if Hearts slip up, to be quite honest. Scotland at pro youth level just go for the biggest, most physical players over talent, but we end up with neither. Sounds about right. Right, okay. I'm going to wrap things up there today. Thank you, everybody. I've appreciated it. I was just a kind of impromptu live stream today. Kieran Bowie, the talk of the town right now. We'll see if that goes anywhere. But, yeah. Good stream. I enjoyed it. Enjoy the rest of your night. Once again, everybody, pray for the Eagles. We need to beat these 49ers bastards. Right, I've been waiting for this. This is almost like written in the stars for me, right? So if the 49ers beat the Eagles tonight, you might not hear from me tomorrow. It's as simple as that. So, aye. Go Birds, everybody. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday and the rest of your weekend. I'll see you on the channel tomorrow. Until then, take care.